This is my first video. Um, Welcome all everyone that is joining in right now. The name's James Blunt. I'll be your host for today. I'm just going to go into intricate details about the disgusting subculture of human society. So, where do I begin? Um, I don't know. Let's just say you're someone who doesn't participate in drama or gossiping or things of that nature. You, for some reason, rub people the wrong way for whatever reason because they're just innately insecure about themselves. If they have a certain perception of you, they view that perception as something to come to fruition every time they see you. And if you're doing something that they consider out of the norm, for whatever reason, they will go out their way and try to project their insecurities on you. Here's my advice. You just simply have to ignore them at all times. I mean, this could be in any type of environment, whether it's in your neighborhood, whether it's your job, school, or just anywhere. Um, Society as a whole is pretty much a crab in a bucket mentality when it falls to a certain financial bracket. It's usually from the homeless to the middle class. You start to see this very frequently, and it's really sad and really disgusting behavior. It especially occurs in areas where there's a smaller population where everyone knows everyone. But of course, you just can't escape it for whatever reason. Like I said, if you're going through this, what you have to do is just pretend that you don't see them or hear them, because eventually, if you take their 2 cents as something of value. Now, I would like to give you specific examples, but I don't want to peddle into my personal fears. Like I said, this is my first video, so excuse me for having a little stutter issues or anything like that. I'm still trying to get comfortable just talking to the camera and looking at myself. But I'm pretty sure everyone has dealt with it. The next videos I'll be going through relationships, politics mostly. Um, but we'll get there when we get there. Right now, it's just something that's been in my head. Like I said, we've all experienced it. Um, just regular average Joes, people ranging from 18 to billing issues that they'd have to attend to, but for whatever reason, in order for them to maintain their self-esteem, they must look around their environment and see what they can do to try to bring another person down, to inflate their ego. You ever met those type of people? And when you're not pretending to be jovial towards them because you see them for what they are, they get offended for whatever reason. I can understand if you're at a job where 9 to 5 politics comes into play, and you have to maintain job stability to provide food, shelter, and clothing for whoever's in the house, including yourself. That you have to curb your enthusiasm from being authentic, but they feel obligated that you must curb your enthusiasm when it's not a 9 to 5 setting. Like I said, it's just random Joes can't mind their own business. They go above and beyond to make some little slick slights. I mean, me personally, I have no idea who these people are. I've repeated vehemently to them, but it just goes in one ear and out the other. Um, I guess it's just amusing to them, or some type of hobby, or it's just innately in their culture where, they see someone, in solitude, not bothering a single soul, and they just feel the need to say something. Like, I don't know, I call it pseudo superiority, where they think they're life coaches or something, and then you evaluate their financial status, their intelligence, and physical appearance, and obviously it's not up to par. So you're just flabbergasted on why they're giving you advice. I mean, from my standards, I mean, they're not doing so well. I mean, they're just falling to the same category as the regular average Joe, just trying to get by. But like I said, you know, it's just on their bucket list to be a life coach. It's just start splurting out nonsense. And if they can't get, quote unquote, dirty information about you, they just confabulate some type of narrative that will paint you in a bad light, and then they'll spread it to their comrades. And since their comrades share the same characteristic traits, they follow the same tactics. Um, I just find it really disgusting, but this is the world we live in. You just have to adjust, maneuver through life. Like I said, if you're going through the same thing that I'm going through, all I can tell you is just, stay strong. Try to find people that are like-minded. Create a small circle, because the majority of people aren't your friends. At very best, they're just affiliates or associates, I should say. I don't know. I think the terms are interchangeable, whichever term you want to use. But yeah, just if they for some reason are in your vicinity and want to engage in dialogue, just make it short and sweet. Don't talk anything personal, because they will use that as ammunition for whatever reason, as their number one objective to tarnish your character. So whenever you see these people, they're snakes, they're fakes, whatever you may call them, and you have to engage in conversation. Just talk about the weather, or maybe the current sports teams that went against each other, and just keep it moving. I mean, you just got to keep your distance. I mean, pretend that we're still in the COVID era where you just keep a 6 feet distance, and view them as they have some type of contagious terminal disease. That's all I can tell you. Like, I mean, I'm just going to give you just little examples. I'm not going to go into specific details. I'm not going to give you any names because, like I said, I don't know these Tom, Dick, and Harry. Um, for example, you just walk into a library, go to a little corner, you figure it's out of sight, out of mind, and people will walk into that vicinity and make little slights, whether it's the homeless, whether it's the working poor or the middle class. I mean, I really don't know what's wrong with these people. I mean, sometimes you even have staff members get into the shenanigans. I really have no clue why they do this. But you know, library is supposed to be a safe space where you can get free information, what they don't teach in high school or college, and educate yourself. And yeah, I'm pretty sure people can relate. You know, you might call yourself a lone wolf. You might call yourself, you know, real. Um, just someone who stand on principles, who don't engage in the fakeness and the gossip, gossiping behind people's back, and then when you see them face to face, it's all smiles and Hallmark cards. If if you share the same characteristic traits like I do, it's pretty nauseous in your stomach how people can operate like that. You have no idea how they can look at themselves in the mirror. And it's like every time I even think about it, I just cringe. As you can see, my facial expression, I can't even maintain a stoic look right now because it's all over, man. You just really can't escape it. Um, I don't know if you guys are watching this video. Post a comment on what you want me to talk about. Pretty sure, you don't want to give, incidents at the job place because you still work there, or you know, that annoying neighbor or something because you're still, you're trying to keep the peace, and they might see this and you know have some vitriol towards you, and then they start acting extra petty. But yeah, the real ones know. So I don't know, guys. I suggest you read like 48 Laws of Power or a bunch of psychology books, and understand human nature. What I call is the crab in the bucket mentality. It's like they don't mind to see you pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, but if they get a sensation in your stomach that you're trying to go above and beyond them, that's when you know they start to garner up some type of jealousy, or become real extra nosy and start living vicariously through a 007 James Bond agent character, and pull out secret missions to, get intel about you and what you're trying to do in life. And if they can see a way to, try to cause hindrance to that, they'll do that even though it's not conducive to their self interest at all. This is just craziness. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. If you believe in a higher power, I suggest you pray for protection from these people. It's like I said, they're not overt, but they're pretty covert in their tactics, and they're very dangerous, man. So you gotta really watch out for them. You can always test these people. Maybe like drop some false information on what you're trying to do. Just say something like wild, that makes you come off as delusional or like unrealistic goals, and see that first glimpse of their facial expression. They can never hide it. No one can. You know, um, and then just wait it out. See if that conversation transitions from A to B to A to Z, and then what type of person you're dealing with. I consider just a coward mentality when they just go behind your back and gossip all day long. I mean, they really don't see anything wrong with it. Um, yeah. Once you find that out, like I said, avoid eye contact. You know, if you have to say good morning, say good morning. Try not to be rude. Try to maintain your professionalism. Some people just might make up little slights just to provoke you. Maybe when they go to sleep, they dream about all the stereotypical images that's been injected in your mind watching TV, such as reality TV shows or crime investigation or something along those lines. And then they get a super hard on when they see an individual who might have the same color as what they saw on TV. And they kind of just lump them in a group, if you know what I'm trying to get at. But sometimes you have to play the reverse Uno card on them, you know, and view them as an imaginary threat as well, and see how offended they get. They don't like it when it's done to them, but they have no problem doing it to you. And when they do it, all of a sudden it's satire. But when you do it, all of a sudden, you're belligerent, or you know, you're being very inappropriate. And sometimes it's not. Might be in another demographic. It could be someone who has the same complexion as you. I call the jargon every skin folk ain't your kinfolk, and that's very true. You know, it's just really sad. Um, I don't know. I mean, how do you cure this disease? I mean, the medical field is still trying to figure that out. But the greatest revenge you can have is success. So you can elevate yourself into a financial class where you don't have to tolerate these people on a consistent basis. So that's what I suggest you doing, instead of letting it breaking you down mentally. You know, we live in the greatest country in the world. There's plenty of opportunities. Several different streams on garnishing. I mean, garnishing passive income. And so, yeah, anyone that says money can't solve all problems just didn't make enough. You know, you can have a goal, have a financial goal. Something that deals with helping others, because that usually comes back around. And you reaping the benefits of that. Because it's good to create a social network where people think positive of you, because they might return that same kindness. So yeah, it's not all about the money. Think of it like a something that might benefit mankind when you're on your long journey. It's going to be hard. Like I said, you're going to be dealing with people in your financial class that might get hip to it, and instill negative remarks so they can, stir you into mundane activities. Just clock in, clock out, go home, maybe watch a sports game, you know, crack a beer or two, and repeat the same cycle over and over again. They want you to be comfortable. Don't get me wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong having a job. You know, it's very important to be a contributing member to society. But if you're one of the few that want to go above and beyond, and become your own boss, hey, do that. Nothing's stopping you. If you want to, stick to the 9 to 5 and elevate the career ladder, that's great as well. Just as long as you're doing something positive, you know, and contributing to society, you create your own legacy. Don't let anyone deter you. Just ignore the haters. I mean, they're there for a reason to make you stronger. So if you have to deal with these clowns like I do, just always instill this in your head. Just view them as a bunch of nobodies. They don't bring nothing of value. They can't help you in whatever you're trying to do. So, just consider them nobodies. You know, keep it moving and focus on you. I hope I planted seeds in people's heads today. And if whenever you're feeling down or you feel like giving up, you can always play this video, put it on repeat. It is write your goals down on a piece of notepad every day. Like, trust me, I know it sounds simplistic, but it really does work. Every morning, you jot it down, and eventually it becomes ingrained, and you'll eventually start doing it, and it becomes a habit. So anyway, got to get going. Thank you for tuning in. Um, Pretty sure I might catch a following soon. And, yeah, I mean, this message resonates. So, all right, I'll catch you tomorrow, most likely the same time. Thanks for joining in, and have a great day.